Now, welcome to your practice. We will look into one of the afflictions of the mind today, which is ignorance. And that is ignorance mainly about who we are, really. So let's explore that. What better place is there than the mat? I would ask you, however, today to have a strap. Now, if you do need to run off and grab one, anything will do. No strap in the house, use a belt, use a shawl, even a large towel, very long towel will do. So anything basically that can hold your leg and you could pull on a little bit. We will use it multiple times throughout the practice, so please do take your time, walk away and come back once you found an item that actually works for you. Once you've got an item, I will just demonstrate how we continue. We will then start on our backs, and as you place yourself down onto the back, you can relax the arms. If it feels right for you, you can keep your knees bent and then let them roll out to the sides to now touch the soles of the feet together. So don't stress if you just return from your hunt for a strap. We begin lying down, and Supta Baddha Konasana, if that works for you, you can always, instead of opening the hips, close them with the feet down and the knees touching. No obligation for this shape or form. Allowing yourself to snuggle in and rest in this shape. And this is our first point of connection, the first point of where we try and connect into this practice. So ignorance or vidya teaches us that we are looking outside of ourselves, that we believe that we are separate. And yet the yogic scriptures tell us that we are one. On the mat or in your asana practice, this might be expressed by taking care of the physical body, acknowledging the mind and its ability to stay with the practice, and combine all of that with the breath. In our daily life, there's a lot more needed, but this is also why we do come to the mat to practice, to gain insights about ourselves and to progress in yoga off the mat as much as on the mat. Will you allow yourself to be in your reclined bound angle pose? Allow your breath to deepen. Feeling the movement that comes with the air flowing more intensely through the nostrils and the rise and fall within the torso. You could choose to practice with me 2 rounds of breathing, that 3 count and 3-part inhalation, a pause at the end of that, and then you breathe out from the top down to the bottom. We'll only practice that for 2 rounds today. If you find the count is too long or counting irritates you, go back to full yogic breathing instead. Let's begin inhaling to the belly, 2, 3, to your ribs, 2, 3, up to collarbones, 2, 3, hold the breath. And exhaling from the top down for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing back into the belly for 2, 3. Lower ribs, 2, 3. Collarbones, 2, 3. Pause. And breathing out from the top for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your breath relax, come back to ease. It's likely was a strong involvement of all 3 components of your practice: mind, breath, and body. Now you may help your knees as you can bring the hands to the outside of your legs, drawing your knees up. Then wiggle your feet apart if your knees were falling out to the edges of your mat, and let the knees fall inward from there. The arms can still be relaxed here. Letting the arms just drift a little bit further away from the body, maintaining a relaxed upper body and shoulder position. Let your knees come a little bit apart, and then let them gently sway from side to side. Keep the breath with it. Whether you are breathing in or out as you're rolling your knees to the side, I leave that pattern up to you. There's a good reason for both ways. And then if that feels good, let's bring the head in. Let your spine to move in a gentle way and still resting on the floor, quite supported. As we allow our knees to roll onto the right hand side now, you can snuggle your knees a little bit together and roll onto that side completely. Extending your arms out in front of the shoulders, the palms are touching. And when you next inhale, let your left hand slide up the right arm, brush across the chest, and then extend the arm as you follow your left hand with the gaze into a deeper twist. As you rest here, continue a deeper or full yogic breath. As you might have turned your head, just let your knees come across and roll over onto your left hand side. The same here, arms softly extended at about shoulder height, palms touching. As you breathe in, let the right hand slide up your left arm, brushed across your chest, and follow the hand with the gaze as you're extending your arm to the opposite side. Allow yourself to remain in the twist for a few more breaths. And as you give this time to roll back onto your left hand side, use your right hand and help yourself up into a seated position. We will continue this practice in an easy pose. So once you've come up to sit, you can either roll up the end of the mat, or you might choose to pop a block underneath your buttocks. A cushion is also fine, anything that might lightly elevate your sitting bones. Please also bring a strap along, or whatever you're using as a replacement. Bring and I will keep calling it a strap just to make it easier. Bring the strap out in front of you and hold it a little bit further apart than shoulder distance. There's a little tension on the strap already. As you next inhale, lifting your arms up. When you breathe out, start pulling down with your right hand. The hand may even touch the floor. As you go into a side bend, looking down towards the ground by the sides. And when you next inhale, pull yourself up using your left hand. And then keep pulling as you breathe out, the left hand down to the other side. The arm holds onto the strap, but keep the tension there and looking down to the floor. On the next inhale, draw on your right hand and breathe out to let the strap come behind your back. Wrap your hands halfway into the strap to keep the tension in the strap and raise it lightly away from your back. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, draw with your left hand forward into a twist. You might reach with your left hand the left knee, and you could hold it there if you prefer. Remain in the twist, keep the tension in the strap. And when you next inhale, let the right hand pull on the strap to bring you to center, and keep pulling with the right hand as you're breathing out, returning into the twist on the other side. Once more, the front hand as well as the back hand can rest down. With the next breath, pulling in on the left side of the strap. And as you breathe out, start to lean forward. If that's right for the shoulders, raise the arms, and with that, the strap, there's tension in the strap still. And as you release your strap, curling up to sit. Bring your fingertips down onto the floor behind your back and take a breath in to raise the sternum, maybe guiding the head back to Chakrasana. Breathe in here. And as you're exhaling, let your lower back begin to round so you can lift the head. Sliding your feet out in front, or even lifting the feet and balancing on your sitting support. Then changing the leg in front. As you find your easy pose again, bring the strap back out in front of you. Holding on to it once more, wider than shoulder distance. On the inhalation, lifting your arms up. Now pull on your left side. Draw the strap down, maybe even towards the floor into a side bend. Gaze is downwards. There might be a light chin tuck towards your left shoulder. Tiny stretch into the neck. As you inhale, pull with your right hand to center, and then keep pulling with the right hand when you breathe out. Coming into the side bend on the other side. Again, you can lower your gaze. You can even tuck the shoulder and the chin together. Have an extension again into the neck. And as you inhale, pull up with your left hand. Breathe out, bring the strap behind, take a half wrap around your hands, bring tension into the strap, move the arms away from your back and breathe in. As you breathe out, pull your right hand forward, come into a twist. If the hand can hold onto the leg, the knee, hold it there within the twist. Supporting yourself with the hands and keeping the strap in tension. On the inhale, pull on the strap with the left hand to center, and then exhale to pull the left hand forward, returning to twist to your right. Again, use your hands to rest and hold. On the inhale, pull on the strap with your right hand to center. On the exhale, folding forwards. Arms may lift, but they could rest as well. Keep a strong pull on the strap. There's no intention of pulling on the shoulders. There's an intention of opening. Releasing the strap down behind you and rounding up through the spine. Again, please place your fingertips behind your back. Lift your sternum. Maybe the head comes back. Neck is sore, chin tuck. Releasing that again from the lower back as that rounds, and then the head comes up, sliding your feet out in front. Maybe lifting the feet. And then swing them across. Take your strap now and place that towards the front end of your mat. Remove anything from the mat that you might have used as a sitting support. You might also choose later now to take your socks off, unless you've got yoga socks, of course. And then coming into an all-four stance. As you land here, have your knees underneath your hips, spread your fingers out, and find that tiny engagement around your lower belly that supports the natural curve of the spine. On the next inhalation, let your right leg extend back. Get a sense of reaching to your toes and the crown of the head. And with your out breath, drawing your knee and nose together to round the back. On the inhale, lengthen the spine and the leg. Exhale, round and curl in. Inhale, extend again. And exhale as you bring the knee forward, help it or step the foot forward in between the hands. Interlace the hands, then Charlie's Angels Mudra, so your index fingers come out and stick together. Then breathe in and lift your arms up for a kneeling lunge. On the out breath, let your shoulders soften down. You can have your hip resting right over the knee as myself, or if you feel comfortable with it, you can lunge a little bit further forward, maybe getting a deeper opening into the hip. Your gaze may be forward or lifted up to your hands. With the next inhale, release this mudra to touching palms. When you breathe out, let your right forearm land on the thigh. Swing your left foot around and extend your left arm over the head. You could also extend the right arm and point the fingertips towards the floor. More important is that the foot is lightly behind you, so you've got a slight opening across the hips. Variation of your side angle posture. So trying to reach forward into the fingertips. Palm of the hand is facing down. On your next inhalation, reach up with the right hand fingertips and breathe out to place your right hand to your lower back. Oh, sorry, that's the left hand. It's a rarely mix up sides, but if I do it solidly. So the left hand's in the lower back now, and inhaling to raise the right hand. Now, if you like to look up, if the neck is happy with that, have a subtle chin tuck, but lift your gaze and reach up to the fingertips. Let's inhale. And then when you're exhaling, let your hands land again either side of your front leg. Realign the left leg onto the mat and lean your hips just a little bit back. Your hands can slide backwards too. Get the right leg to almost straighten and touch your toes down to the mat. When you then exhale, bring your nose down towards the knee. So for now, you might feel some extension in the front of your ankle and across your shin. Maybe in other points too, of course. You may keep the hands where they are when you next inhale to bend the front knee and lean the weight a little bit forward. Then keep your heel down, but raise the sole of the foot. Lean back again, straighten the leg, push forward with the ball of the foot and lower your nose back to the knee. So variations of Ardha Hanumanasana, the half monkey god pose. As you inhale, land on the sole of the foot. Take your hands forward and step your knee backwards. While you exhale, lower down onto the front of your body. As you lie down on the front of the body, touch in front of you on the mat, your thumbs and index finger together. So you're finding a triangle lying on your mat. And then, if possible, rest the forehead into the triangle. Once the head is resting down, let the shoulders soften. Then touch your big toes and let your heels roll out to the side for a few breaths in the crocodile, Makrasana. If you feel this is beneficial, deepen your breathing again. From the area all around your belly to sideways, lower back. Breathing into the rib cage, all around. And right up to your upper back and collarbones. And when you're exhaling, gently contract lower belly. Squeeze the air out of the ribs and all the way up to collarbones again. Have 2 more breaths like that. Feeling the expansion of your body all around. Perceiving yourself in these dimensions. So much more than just our physical bodies. The triangle is symbol for the Trinity and also to draw our awareness back to the universe, to reconnect. Universe, nature, all of us. As you let your hands now slide back, replace them by the ribs. And as you breathe in, come up onto all fours. I suggest to bring the knees in a little and sit towards a child's pose, as although we seem to be lying down just on the front body when the saddle back bend. If you can, rest the forehead down, either onto hands, thumbs, or the floor. And let your arms extend again to the front end of the mat. On the inhale, come up onto hands and knees. You might want to adjust the widths of the knees, the grounding of shoulder distance, and the spread of the hands. When you are next inhaling, lifting your left leg up. Again, extend from the crown to the toes. With the exhale, draw the knee in and the nose around your back. Inhaling, extending long. Exhaling, rounding in. Last one, breathing in to extend. As you exhale, draw the knee in and aim or hold your foot between your hands. When you interlace the hands now, change the fingers on top. Touch index fingers together and raise this Charlie's Angels Mudra upwards as you inhale. Let the shoulders soften as you're breathing out. And feel again what's right for you, keeping your hip over the knee or leaning a little bit forward. There's an option to raise your gaze. Inhale now, touch the palms of your hands. And while you breathe out, bring the left forearm down. Extend the right arm over the head and swing the right foot a little bit behind to open your hips. It's possible, leave the palm of the hand facing downwards and stretch towards the fingertips. Shoulder open. On the next inhale, raise the top arm. On the breath out, bring the top hand into the lower back. Then inhale and raise your left arm. And maybe you're looking upwards here, but do have a little chin tuck rather than hanging in the back of the neck. Give the lift up into the fingers. Inhale. And as you exhale, let your hands release either side of your front leg. Realign the back leg to the mat. Aim to straighten the front leg. Your hands can come further back if that's useful. And tuck the toes down onto the mat while you lower your nose to your knee. It's likely you're feeling extension into the front of your ankle and across the shin. But maybe there's some extension in the back of the leg too. On the next inhale, keep your hands where they are. Just bend the knee, bring some weight forward into the foot. And when you're exhaling, lift the heel down, lift the sole of the foot, push forward with the ball of the foot, straighten the leg, and lower your nose to the knee again. Now keep moving forward into the ball of the foot here for engagement all around your leg. With the next inhale, land again on the sole of the foot, bending your knee. Plant your hands down, shoulder distance apart, and step your knee back. Tuck your toes under and reach your hips up and back for puppy pose. Maybe even now lifting the knees off the mat for a downward facing dog. As usual, this is up to you. An all four stance, as you just experienced, is as good for movement as a downward facing dog. So if the down dog is too much, you can always lower the knees down. When you next inhale, bring your right leg up into the air. You can point your toes, but leave your hips in balance. And with the out breath, hold your down dog, draw the knee and the nose together, a roundedness to your back. On the inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, curl it in. One more breath in to extend. On the exhale, draw the knee in and either help it or step it forward. As you inhale, let the whole lunge collapse and breathe out to round into standing. As you inhale, lift the Charlie's Angels Mudra into the air and then soften into your lunge. Let the shoulders be at ease. Maybe a lift of the gaze. High lunge. Inhale now, touch the palms of your hands. As you breathe out, lower your heel. Right forearm comes down. Left arm extends over the head. So in a full side angle posture, if the extension over the head is too much, you can also extend towards the ceiling. If the forearm resting down there doesn't challenge you, you can extend your arm downwards as well. So while you hold, you could choose to continue that. Or you could breathe in, bend your back knee, let your arms swing back and down. And then when you're breathing out, moving down the outer edge of the left foot and stretching the fingers forward again. On the inhale, there could be a bend and a swing. And on the out breath, spanning the left side open. Maybe one more, breathing in, bend and swing. And the breath out to extend the posture. As you next inhale, raise your left arm. With the out breath, hold the legs the same, but get into a half windmill and exalt a warrior posture. If you choose to look up, again, have a little chin tuck there. Front knee is still bent. When you next inhale, straighten the front leg and get a bit more of a lift out from the hips. And when you breathe out, add another half windmill, this time into triangle posture. Let your knees bend, your upper arms swing down. Place the hands down onto the mat and raise the back heel. You may even bring both knees down for a kneeling plank if you like, or step into a full plank if you prefer. We will inhale here and bring space in between the shoulder blades. And with the exhale, the elbows will stay close as we lower on or toward the mat. With the inhale now, lifting the head, the chest, either cobra or even an upward facing dog. And in your own time and way, as you breathe out, maybe you come over the knees, maybe you're rolling straight over the toes. We will meet again in down dog, or if you prefer, all four stance. Move that a little if you find that is required by the body. Hold it still and align your weight bearing evenly over hands and feet. If you choose to be still. Notice if all the three components of your practice are still with you, practicing together. The body, your mind, your breath. Next, inhale, lifting your left leg up. On the exhale, bring the knee to the chest, round your back. Then inhale, extending the leg up and back again. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest. Inhale, extend the leg up and back again. Exhale, draw the knee to the chest and then help or land the foot in between the hands. Take your time. On the in-breath, collapsing your lunge. On the out-breath, roll it up. Changing the interlace of the fingers for Charlie's Angels Mudra as you raise your arms and settle the shoulders, sinking into your lunge. Potentially, you could raise your gaze up. On the next inhale, touch the palms of your hands together. On the exhale, lower the back heel. Bring your left forearm down and extend your right arm over the head. Forearm can rest on the thigh, or you can extend the arm, pointing with the fingers downwards. Konasana. Option to hold here steady, or to inhale, bend the back knee, swing your arm back and down, and then extending the arm over the head, reaching into fingertips and down to outer edge of your right foot. If you want to move again, bend the knee, inhale, circle arm back and down, And a breath out for a big stretch along the right side of the body. Inhale to release. And exhale to deepen the stretch. On your next inhale, lifting the fingertips to the ceiling. And then a half windmill to bring the left hand up for reverse warrior shape. Keep the front foot engaged, the knee in a bend, the back hand soft, and the upper hand reaching up and backwards. Exalted warrior. When you next inhale, straighten your front leg and realign the hips, finding more balance here. On your next out breath, add another half windmill and come into a triangle pose. As you inhale, bend both of your knees. Release your hands to the mat, raise the back heel. Now step your foot forward and take a breath for a half lift, extending the spine. Exhale and bowing down. Your choice, keeping hands underneath your shoulders or the fingertips, or to slide your hands underneath your feet. Standing on the palms of the hands with your toes touching your wrists. Your knees can be bent, the head might be low, and the weight is leaning into the hands or forward in the feet. Tailbone might slowly lift while you keep your nose closer to your knees. Stay in standing forward bent, couple more breaths. Then take your hands out from underneath your feet. Have a half lift where your hands are resting against the legs. And breathe out to fold again. Now take that strap from the front end of your mat. As you breathe out, roll up and take the strap with you. Now, whatever your strap might look like, doesn't matter. Just take it into your hands and then slide it underneath the ball of the right foot. Keep your feet parallel for now, so you still got a solid stance on your mat at about hip distance apart. Everything from here really is optional. Have a good play. As we lean the weight to the left foot, breathe in, bend your elbows to lift your knee. You can wrap your hands around the strap once more so you don't have to grip that hard. As you could hold here, keep the pelvis at level. On an out breath, extending the leg forward. Keep the shoulders relaxed, your elbows close. And if all of that feels good, draw the elbows back and start to lean forward. Now, it seems that my balance is really off this week. So if you choose to lean forward, there is a challenge within the balance there. If I keep demonstrating, I will throw you all out of it, so stop. Now, lifting your torso if you're bending forward, bend the knee as you breathe in. Release the strap as you release the foot down and take a deep breath to raise your arms over the head. Maybe come into a little standing back bend. Then release the arms back down. Release to full length of strap and slide that underneath the ball of the left foot. Same here, we're still standing in mountain pose, the feet next to each other but separate. Only difference, we're holding onto a strap that's under the ball of the foot. Shift the weight now to the right foot. And as you inhale, bend your elbows to lift your knee. You could wrap your hands around the strap once more, just for an easier grip. You could stay here balancing the pelvis. Or exhale and extend the leg out long. I won't demonstrate as the balance is off, but if you feel playful, as you breathe out, start leaning forward, bending over this extended leg. Your nose moving towards the knee. As we lift our torso lightly, bend the knee again. Release the strap, drop it by the side of the mat, land the foot down. Take an inhale, reach the arms up again, opening the front of your body. And as you breathe out, circle the arms behind your back and interlace your hands here. While you breathe in, draw the arms down or away from your back, opening your chest and gaze. Now bend your knees deeply. Bring the belly over your thighs, then fold forward and maybe your arms are lifting away from the back. The weight lightly leaning forward in the feet as you pause. And another variation of Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Let your arms release, your hands come to the mat. Bring your knees down to the floor and then take the feet across and lower to a seated position where we take our legs out in front. Now you can leave the strap by the side of the mat and open your legs out wide. If you want that cushioning underneath your buttocks, you can take it there. With your legs out wide, flexing your feet. You may have a bend in the knees if that helps your back. We will place today the backs of the hands against the inside of our legs. Your legs are holding gently with a light pressure into the backs of the hands and the backs of the hands moving against the legs at the same time. And that hopefully gets you in a deep, long-seated position. Inhale here. And as you exhale, slide one hand down, leaning towards one leg. Inhale, come to center. And then exhale, explore that movement on the other side. Now keep going like this. There's a light resistance. Hand and leg moving against each other. And while you are starting to bend a little bit sideways, you also begin to move your body forward. Keep the sliding of the hand. We are stimulating the inside of the legs, not only with the forward fold, maybe with a subtle massage of the hands. And while we might be moving forward here, you can choose to stay steady at any time, which means you could hold in the wide-legged forward fold. If this is you, keep the hands on the insides of the legs and the gentle pressure of leg and hand against each other. Or if you can comfortably reach, you could also take a pistol grip of your big toe and moving downwards and forward from here. Either you're still sliding and moving or you're holding now and breathing. In any case, keep your whole being within this practice. Maybe gaining some insights about the mind as you have your attention sitting there, being present, observing the wandering of the mind. Releasing any grip that you might have and returning to a sliding from side to side. And this time the movement might be a bit softer as it takes you back into a seated position. Letting your shoulders relax and now beginning to bend your knees, bringing your feet down onto the floor. Now please make sure you still have your strap sitting right by the side of your mat. Take your fingertips behind you, lengthening through the spine. As we are in a seated boat pose, you may lift one or both feet off the floor, keeping your spine reasonably long. You may also lift the hands off the ground, finding still that extension across your back. And with or without the feet on the floor, start lowering down onto the mat, releasing the arms down, letting the body come to rest on the back. At any time, however, can you bend your knees, place your feet onto the floor if required. Let's bring the right knee to the chest and give it a good hug and a squeeze in, holding it rather tightly. We will use the strap again, and in the same way, so wrap it around the ball of the right foot. Slide your hands down the ends of the strap so you can rest your elbows and your shoulders down. Then inhale and extend the right leg upwards. There will remain a bit of tension in the strap, but when you breathe out, draw the leg in a little bit closer. Inhale, let it flip back. And then have that little bouncing just with your hands pulling on the strap, in and out of the stretch. And you might find that over time, as that's more of a movement, that potentially also impacts your fascia, that pulling in and out of the leg is serving you in a way of bringing the length in so that the leg might come a tad bit closer over time within that movement. And you might, after a few times of a bouncing leg, just hold it steady. Your foot is in a flexion because the strap is drawing down the ball of the foot. Releasing the stretch, but leaving the leg up there, bringing the two ends of the strap to meet. Let your right arm reach a little bit up and take a hold of both ends of the strap. The left arm falls out to the side. Now, when you breathe in, open the leg out to the right. And I suggest to slide the elbow to the ground, because if you had the space, this leg might drop out all the way to the side, and you could hold with your elbow complete control about that extension. At the same time, leaving your left side of the buttocks on the floor. With the next inhale, guide the leg to center. You can use the strap actively. We change the hand on the both ends of the strap. The right arm falls to the side, palm can face up. And as you breathe out, you might start to draw the leg across the body, landing again on an elbow for better control of the leg moving across, keeping your shoulders on the floor. And only if that feels good, turn the gaze away from the leg. Use again your strap to help you bring your leg into center. Let the foot slip out of the strap, but hold your leg up there. Embrace your lower abdominal muscles and breathe out to lower the straight leg down slowly. If that hurts your back, please bend the knee anytime. And once you've released the leg onto the mat, give it a gentle shake and have a mini assessment of yourself. As you might experience, sensational wise, the right leg now feeling longer than your left. Bringing the left knee into the chest for a hug and squeeze. If you need to bend your right knee, that's perfectly fine. Taking back the strap and bringing it around the ball of the left foot. Slide your hands down the sides of the strap until your shoulders and your elbows are tucked down into the mat by the side. On the inhale now, extend your left leg up. On the exhale, draw on the strap to get the leg in closer. If you enjoyed the movement, have that little bounce in and out. Minimal effort, but the effort here comes from your hands and is allowing the movement of the leg to be rather passive. In and out, a tiny little bounce. And hold the leg if you choose to. Bringing the ends of the strap to meet and reaching about halfway up with your left hand. Let the right arm drop over to the side and breathe in to guide your leg open. Maybe your elbow touches to the ground first so you can control the movement outward. Aiming to ground through the right side of the buttocks, keeping your spine aligned. Inhale, help the leg up. Change the hand on the strap. Open the left arm, palm might face up. And as you breathe out, guide the leg across the body. Again, let the elbow come to rest first so you've got better control. Take this leg as far as feels good. And if it is right for you, you may turn your head in the opposite direction. On your in-breath, help the leg back up. Let your foot release from the strap. Release the strap. Let your arms be restful. Engage the lower tummy and exhale to lower your straight leg down slowly. For a little bit of inner strength. Once your leg has landed, give it a gentle shake. Notice the position you're in is likely pretty much Shavasana. And if your body feels ready, you can just stay like this. But you might like a little bit of cushioning underneath your knees or under the head. Or maybe you like to cover yourself with a blanket. All of that, a good idea. But entering then into the stillness of your Shavasana. The body is supported. There's an awareness still of the connection of body, physically, mind, and your breathing. As the bodily functions begin to slow down. Vidya, the first affliction of the mind, one from which others flow. It's our mistaken view about how life works. Basically don't know who we are, and for that reason we make poor choices. According to yoga, the mistake we make is to identify with the external. So maybe centering your awareness around your hearts. And we often believe that that heart of the universe resides like in every other being. And with that, it's also the place to look for happiness. Well, you might choose to keep your awareness there. I will share the card that came up for this practice. It is from the healing cards this time. And it says, the root cause of all dis-ease is a negative attitude about taking care of yourself. Confirmation that how we see ourselves might be an affliction of our mind. Ayurveda and its tradition teaches that the main reason we get sick can be reduced to a lazy or perverse mental attitude, which leads us to ignore the basic principles of good health. That can mean not only eating the wrong foods and ignoring the cycles of nature, but also failing to control our negative emotions. As we now know, thousands of years after the wisdom of Ayurveda was first gathered, the stress caused by anxiety, overwork, anger, and grief creates even more damage to the body than a poor or inappropriate diet. The Greek Christian mystics believe that our negative traits and emotions, which they call elementals, accumulate around us and reinforce themselves, gathering ever more negative energy in a kind of downward spiral. Yet even though we know better, sometimes act as if we're not worthy of a truly healthful, supportive life, as if we don't deserve to be taken care of. The cure seems simple. Pay attention to everything you do that has the potential to affect your health, all the way from what you put into your body to stress. Might for a little while ponder upon how do you define taking care of yourself. Observe your comfort level when it comes to being good to yourself, as you might use the discomfort to be your wise teacher. Keep the connection to your heart center while you deepen your breathing. Move a little or even stretch a lot. And then join me in a seated pose. And we touch together the palms of our hands in front of the heart. Let the thumbs gently touch the sternum. And lift your heart a little into your hands. And bow your head a little towards your heart. Bowing before the self, universe that we hold within, our quest for happiness. as that is what connects us. We bow lightly to each other. Namaste.